Welcome back to Carlotto's Dark Anthology, where stories rot slow, bleed quiet, and always leave something behind. Today's tale, a little revenge and a little horticulture. But before we get swallowed whole, drop a comment below with a quickfire challenge. 1 or 2 sentences, one dark idea. If it's twisted enough, I'll turn it into next week's nightmare. Like, subscribe, and share with someone whose plants might be growing a little too well lately. Today's challenge is, a family's prized greenhouse produces vibrant, impossible flowers. No one talks about where the soil came from. Let's begin. The air inside the greenhouse was wet enough to chew, thick with heat, chlorophyll, and something else. Rows of cannabis plants stretched in every direction, unnaturally lush, their leaves so dark they almost looked blue. Drew whistled low, dragging a finger across a waxy leaf. Damn, Benji, you weren't kidding. He wore that stupid grin he always did when he thought he was being cool. Same grin he'd had back in high school when he shoved Benji's books into the urinal. His hoodie was faded, his jeans stiff with grime, but he walked like the place owed him something. Benji didn't smile. It's a living system. Zeke lagged behind, cracking his knuckles like he owned the place, though he kept shooting glances at the thick jungle of vines overhead. This where we're working security? Got cameras? Dogs? No dogs, Benji said, turning down a center aisle. It's all self-contained. Drew squinted. What, motion sensors or something? Benji glanced back, just a flicker of eye contact, like he didn't need to explain himself anymore. Something. They followed him in silence, boots muffled by the soft, damp flooring. The deeper they went, the thicker the air got, and the harder it became to shake the feeling that the plants were listening. This wasn't the kid they remembered stuffing into lockers. This version of Benji moved like someone with nothing to prove and nothing to fear. Rich, calm, and dangerous in a way that made both of them uncomfortable. You really made all this from weed? Zeke asked, tone trying too hard to sound casual. All legit? Benji finally smiled, just not at them. Weed helped, but it's what goes in the soil that makes the difference. They stopped at a steel-reinforced door tucked behind a wall of vines. Benji keyed in a code. The lock hissed. This is where the real work happens. Inside, the air turned syrupy. The floor was soft, living vines coiled beneath grating. In the center sat a massive plant, pulsing faintly. Its stalks twisted up into a crown of red-veined petals, and at its base, a fleshy cavity lined with dark, wet teeth. Zeke stepped back. The hell is that? My security system, Benji said. Conagaris. It's a hybrid, old biology, some say prehistoric. Drew stared. You mean it's alive? Oh, very. Benji tapped the panel beside the door. The plant stirred. Zeke reached for his waistband. You're messing with us, man. You want to scare us or... The vines struck before he finished. Zeke's scream cut off as he was hoisted into the air, wrapped like meat in butcher's twine. Drew bolted for the exit, but a vine snagged his ankle. He went down hard, gasping as the plant reeled him in. Benji didn't move, just watched. Please, Drew croaked. We didn't mean nothing. It was high school. I remember, Benji said. You told me I'd never be worth shit. The plant opened wider, revealing twitching tendrils and a pit that steamed with hunger. You were wrong. You're worth everything. Drew vanished screaming into the petals. The greenhouse went silent. Then the walls came alive. Overhead, irrigation tubes pulsed with golden fluid. The cannabis leaves shimmered, their color deepening. Buds fattened in seconds, swelling with a sweetness that didn't exist in nature. Benji walked the rows slowly, brushing fingertips across the stalks. Feed it cruelty, Benji whispered, and it gives you kindness. How's that for balance?